Have you ever had a job that looked great on paper, but in reality, it drained you? Well, that was me for the last 5 of almost 10 years on my last job. In today's video, I'll be sharing why I walked away from my high profile, high paying job, what I learned, and how it led to the rebirth of Pivot Noire. Hi, I'm Tamika, founder of Pivot Noire. I started Pivot Noire back in 2019, but if I'm honest, fear and doubt made me put it on the shelf. And if I'm really honest, I did not think that I would even look at Pivot Noire again. I just didn't have any need for it, right? I was making great money at my job. I got a really big pay bump. But let's fast forward 5 years to July 2024. I found myself at a crossroads at this big age and at this late stage in my career, and I could not believe it. I was going to have to pivot. So now I'm circling back to Pivot Noire to share my story and to help professionals like you be able to navigate your next pivot, whether that looks like new leadership roles, new industries, or just discovering your inner genius so that you can, discover that little entrepreneur that's inside of you. I want to help you on your next journey. So I hope that there's something in my story that can help inspire you to know that it's okay to have these pivots at these big ages and these late stages. So if you want to receive weekly strategies on how to navigate your next pivot, please hit subscribe below. So on paper, my corporate job looked perfect. It was high paying, stable, flexible. I had flex PTO and it was impressive. I had a very impressive title, right? But behind the scenes, it was so different behind the scenes. First of all, I found myself spinning my wheels. And so what I mean is, have you ever had an instance where, you may be managing people, right? They come to you with these known issues. There were known issues, fires that need to be put out. I took my time, researched, created plans, new processes to put in place. And I would present them to the people that could effect change, but they were not willing to do anything. And so number 2, I was being undervalued. So undervalued meaning I had the credentials, I had the experience, I have the knowledge, but I was not being respected professionally. And so what that means is there were those who wanted to stay in their lane and also creep into mine and not allow me to do my job, right? And then all of that just led to burnout. Honestly, it was just emotionally, physically, mentally, I was exhausted. I think I come to a point where, you can put up with a lot, right? So we're talking about 5 out of the last 10 years of my job. I was, my little cup was starting to fill up, but it had gotten to the top. So it all just led to burnout. I remember this like it was yesterday. So February 2024, I had a difficult conversation with a client. And that difficult conversation pretty much put the nail in the coffin. It told me everything I needed to know, that things were not going to get better, that I was not going to get heard. But I remember afterwards, just in the months afterward, waking up every morning with this heaviness in my chest. The heaviness wasn't just because the job wasn't hard, right? But the heaviness, it hit different. It wasn't, I don't like to go to work. This was like I was ruminating in this like sadness or like this anger, this annoyance, right? Every single day at work. But I kept ignoring the signs, no matter what God was showing me, no matter how many times I tried to fix it between February and June of 2024, I could not fix it. And really it was just, operating out of fear. And allowing my confidence to continue to be shot down, right? I'm distracted. My confidence is being shot down. I have to meet every day or often, right, with this very difficult client. And it just was not aligning with what God was putting in my spirit. And it definitely wasn't aligning with who I was anymore. When God made it clear to me that I was going to have to leave that job, I was just riddled with fear. I'm not even going to lie to you. It was consuming me between February and June. So Pivot Noire was reborn actually with a different mission, because I don't want other professionals to feel this way while they're in these situations. I was willing to stay in a familiar struggle, right, rather than step out into the unknown. So we don't want to be dealing with that, right? So I want to tell my story so that other professionals can break free from that feeling of complacency, right? So you don't have to start over. You just have to pivot with a purpose. In hindsight, walking away from that job was not just about walking away from a toxic work environment, right? It was about reclaiming my purpose. So there were 3 valuable lessons I learned when I walked away from my high-paying, high-profile job. First, your career should align with your purpose, not just your paycheck. So what good is any job, right? High paying or not, if it's costing you your peace? So there's a level of fulfillment that comes from a job that aligns with your values and your purpose. For me, at some point, the values of the job took a U-turn and they no longer align with mine. And I failed to acknowledge that. And that is a place where I wish that I could go back and redo. Lesson number 2, your skills are more valuable than your job title, okay? You have options. So what I mean is, for a long time, I made one big wrong assumption that once I earned a job title, that the respect for my skills and my leadership skills and my experience would follow. Baby, I was wrong, okay? So what I began to realize is that all of those skills and talents I have, my strategic thinking, project management, leadership skills, those are mine. God gave that to me, right? Those are my talents. So I started to realize that I need to repurpose, repackage, transfer, and build something new for myself through entrepreneurship. Your new thing may be repackaging them on a resume and getting a new job. But whatever it is, they are yours. Your talents that God gave you, you can repackage them and use them as you see fit. Lesson number 3, the best decisions are often the scariest. So whether I liked it or not, my decision to resign was a pivot. It did not feel safe and it was terrifying. But I'm here to tell you that the moment I chose to bet on myself and not my job title, to be obedient to what God was already putting in my spirit, it changed the game for me. Like, it really changed everything. And I realized that my genius was enough, right? The skills that I possessed was enough to build the foundation for the next chapter of my journey. And I really hope that that is something that resonates with you from this last lesson. If you've ever felt stuck in your career, please download my free career pivot playbook. The link is in the description below. And leave me a comment. I want to know, talk to me. Let me know what's holding you back. If you are ready for a change, what is it that you think you need to know? How can I help you be ready for your next pivot?